Hello everybody, so in this video I'm going to talk about my experiences with UCAS and applying to university. And I'm aware that at the moment students in year 13 are applying for the university. I thought I would use this as an opportunity to talk about my experiences and reflect on what I did right and wrong, and if you do watch this and you're a university student to be, you can at least chuckle with amusement, because I don't really expect anybody to take anything away from this, quite frankly. Well, and I'm doing this completely off the top of my head. So ultimately, I understand why people find UCAS frustrating and why they find applying to university frustrating, because you decide that you want to have so many different choices of uni that you go to all the fairs to pick up the leaflets and such, and then you have to make the choice, and the choice you make is one of the first choices that is ever going to affect you in a very strong way. And I personally, when I was doing my personal statement, I felt as if I could always try and put myself across in the best way possible for the universities, but then I felt as if I could have done better, because I came across my old personal statement recently, and I just sounded like I was parroting what I thought was the right thing to say, which sounds a bit problematic, but and I think the biggest mistake I kind of made when applying for university was apply for 3 universities instead of 5, because I was under the assumption that I was going to miss home, because I do not live in the UK technically, so I chose some very southern universities just because they're closer to my modes of transport to get me home. As it turns out, I wasn't as homesick, and I think if I could do the whole university thing again, I would definitely choose 5 instead of 3. Luckily, Winchester took me on a conditional offer because the other 2 universities turned me down, which is unfortunate, but in the end, it was a good thing all around. And I went to go and see Winchester at like one open day, and I know that I should have done more, but I couldn't physically go and see every single university I was applying to because it would be too expensive and all for nothing, essentially, potentially. And I feel like the impression I got of Winchester was a bit too narrow for me to kind of fully enjoy it. At that point, I think I got my best impression of it when I actually became a student, and I looked around and I actually learnt my way around through trial and error during Freshers Week, about 2 years ago now, which is weird to say. I get that if obviously you want to feel safe in the environment which you could potentially be going to uni at, I understand that if people have concern, if ever a potential student has concerns about their university or where they're going to be living for the first year, I think you have to definitely take that into consideration quite thoroughly. This isn't a blanket statement at all about accommodation. I think as well, something else you have to take into consideration when applying for university is whether or not to take a gap year. And I took a year because I wasn't sure whether or not I really wanted to go to university. Again, the whole homesickness thing. And I feel like I didn't really, that if I had the year, I could decide whether or not university was right for me. So at least if I had just gone straight in and then ended up not liking it, I'd have probably felt more guilty about dropping out and wanting to actually carry on just because I didn't want to inconvenience anybody. So at least taking the year, you can actually decide whether or not university is the right thing for you. And something else which is just really odd to think that like one tick box on UCAS determines whether or not you're going to be taking a year or not, or whether it's direct entry or whatever. It's just so strange to think that like one tick or one change is all it takes. This has been a bit of a random muddle of information, but I think as well something that I was aware of when I was applying, and also that I became aware of when I had siblings who were applying. But I think that the way that university is sold to students, it is sold as if it's the be-all and end-all of life, as if you can't find happiness in your career without going to university, and that university is a must. I don't think that's particularly true nowadays. I think that because there are so many more options about what you do with your career, I don't think that that teachers should be so precise about selling the idea of university to students. I think they should actually offer the ability for students to decide across a wide range, because for some people university isn't the thing, and for some people they don't feel like university is right for them, and they shouldn't feel bad for that. They should still, I think students should be allowed to look at all the options and not feel pressured to go to university. Yeah, I think university is a momentous decision to make, and I don't think people should be looked down on no matter what, for whatever choices they make as a result, because it's up to you. It's whatever makes you happy and what makes you feel content and safe and happy to carry on studying if that's what you want to do. But so just good luck with all of it, and don't be stressed about it too much. And but also I came across my student handbook and perspectives. Hope you've enjoyed this video. So I will speak to you next week. Bye.